Alright, this is a comparison of a Chiappa Rhino compared to a few other firearms. So, first off, Chiappa Rhino is a regular revolver, and it is empty. It's not a regular revolver because it actually shoots out the bottom instead of the top. It also looks kind of ugly, but it's also beautiful in its ugliness. It also has railing along the top and bottom. Has a single light pull as well as double action. It's wonderful. It's super lightweight. It's giant, 6 inches. And the angle of the grip is very different compared to other revolvers. So, this is actually my second revolver I've owned. My first was this nasty, ugly little thing right here. This awful Clerk First, manufactured by Clerk Technicorp. This shoots little dinky 32 Smith & Wesson short. Really hard ammo to find. It also is just awful in every aspect of a revolver. It is also empty, as you can tell. Shoots 5 rounds. But what's a little bit more common about it compared to others is the angle of the grip. As you can see, it is more 90-degree angle. Versus the Chiappa Rhino is more obtuse. See that? So more 90-degree angle, more obtuse. This is also a terrible, awful revolver. It's because when you shoot it, the hammer goes through the primer, destroys it, and it's just an awful gun. I don't like this gun. But that's the first revolver I've ever owned, is this one. So what I decided to do is upgrade to the Ferrari Lamborghini type revolver. That would be this, a Chiappa Rhino. I love this revolver. Love the way it looks, love the way it feels, love how lightweight it is. Compared to this one, wow. It is, I would not say it is as light. I mean, it is 2.06 pounds. So it is not as light. But the difference between these two is very minimal. This shoots 357. This shoots, like I said, 32 Smith & Wesson short. Tiny little dinky. It's like a 22, except not. So, let's compare this to P238, 6-hour P238. This is empty, as you can tell. It is clear. Good to go. So, P238 is basically a small version of a 1911. It is single action. So, you have to pull back the hammer. Well, actually, you have to cock it in order to fire it. Weight-wise, yeah, the Rhino is definitely heavier. Compared to this, it's about the same. So I guess, actually, this is still lighter. So, P238, that is my primary self-defense weapon that I keep on myself most times. Shoots 380, which I have self-defense rounds. It's basically a shortened 9mm. Whereas this shoots 357, which is like an extended version of a 9mm, if you want to think of it that way. I know there's some minor differences, but generally this is like the big boy 9mm, and this is a little boy 9mm. I do not own any 9mm because the argument between penetration and effectiveness, I don't like. It's an argument you can go on to forever. 380 is an under-penetrating 9mm. Just fine for self-defense. It's not going to penetrate through many walls. It's going to definitely stop any threat that's coming at you, unless this person's on PCP or something very terrible, or if it's a big giant bear, then this is not going to cut it. But that's why I have this, is for penetrating power. This is the 357, which is definitely more penetrating than a 9mm, same caliber, same size round as a 9mm, same size round as a 380, just a little bit longer. So, this is kind of my current special. It's not my favorite gun yet. My favorite gun is this one right here. This is my 1911 Recoil. As you can see, it is empty. Good to go. This is the gun that I always feel most confident with. If I have this on my hip, I know I can defend myself against pretty much anything. And if not, I can always throw it at somebody, use it as an awkward club, and it'll do just about as much damage. I am a big supporter of the 45 ACP. You can, of course, argue whether 9mm is more penetrating power. This is a bigger, heavier round. It's just moving much slower than the 9mm. I'm not a huge fan of over-penetration. That's why I have this. So basically, I want something slow that can get the job done, has lots of stopping power. But in self-defense situations where I might be worried about bystanders or walls, then my 380 is the way to go. But I decided to upgrade. I was trying to decide on a 9mm and decided to go overbore. Since I have a 45 that I'm very happy with, let's go ahead and do 357, which is kind of the next logical step up from a 45. I mean, yes, there's 40, there's 44 Magnum, but in my opinion, if you're looking between a 45 and a 9 for penetrating power, why not just go big and go with the 357, which is it's a bigger 9. That's my argument. That's why I went with this. The weight difference between these two is this definitely weighs a lot more. This, it might not, but I don't know, it feels, it's just because the weight is distributed differently. Like this, all the weight is like right there. That's a full-size 5-inch mil-spec type 1911. I just love it so much. But this is just a ridiculous looking, super light, giant 6-inch Chiappa Rhino 60DS that shoots 357. So difference is this: if the slide can get locked up and stuck up, and can get stovepiped, and then you get one shot from this, which the 45 is more than enough. But I don't see myself getting into any issues where I can't shoot more than once. But it's always good to have a revolver. We always have 6 rounds. Nothing's going to get in the way of those 6 rounds. We're just going to keep on going. So, trigger pull. 1911, as you know, is a 4-pound trigger pull. Super light, super crisp. Everybody and their mother loves it. So let's take a look and see how these compare. Of course, it has a little bit of a take-up with a 1911, but that's just the way it is. So I'll take that up a little bit and see which two have the lightest pull. So, it seems like the Chiappa Rhino releases much easier than the 1911. Let's switch them up. Try again. So let's see which one goes off first. So, the Chiappa Rhino seems to have a lighter trigger pull than a 1911, which is saying quite a bit. 1911 is always a crisp. I love the 1911. Such a good gun. The Chiappa Rhino, though, in single action mode, is super light. And what's nice about the Chiappa Rhino is, since the barrel is on the bottom, it's gonna go. Recoil is gonna go into your hand because your hand is way up. The one big thing is that you need to be careful where you place and hold this gun. That's something I'm going to be working on here. As you can see right now, my thumb is back quite a ways because there is going to be some slight feedback here on the back end. The big thing is that there's going to be a giant fireball that comes out the front here. So when I'm holding it, I'm going to need to make sure my hands are a little bit smaller, which is okay. I might be able to hold this like I do with my 1911, just like that. I'll have to do some testing at the range. I'll do some video of that as well. I don't know how everybody holds their 1911, but I always put my thumb up here, always on the safety. Unless the safety's off, then it's down below. But I always put my other thumb right here, line up just like that. That's how I do it. Hand up as much as possible, make that dig right in there, right up in there, put some pressure, put your thumb there. That's how I shoot. Everyone else may do it a little bit differently, may criticize me for doing it goofy, But that's how I do it, and it works pretty well for me. I have a loose screw. I'm going to need to fix that. Whereas the Chiappa Rhino, like I said, my hand is kind of small. I could fit it right there, and it's going to be behind the chamber, so it might work for me. I don't know. We'll have to take it out to the range and try. A lot of people have bigger thumbs. Their thumbs stick way forward like this, so it's always best to put it down as low as possible. Fit it right in here if you can. Wrap your other hand here. I've seen people do that. I've also seen people kind of tuck it underneath like this. But whatever you do, you want to make sure your hand is definitely behind the chamber here, just so that way the expanded gases don't split your thumb open on 357 or just blacken your hand and have some issues here too. A lot of people with bigger hands will get burn marks, it looks like. It's basically just soot from the lead where it just kind of darkens your hand because there is pretty much a fireball from a 357. So that's something to keep an eye on. You can see that on online in a couple different videos. But I'm excited to take this out, give it a try, see how it's going to work. Super light trigger. Super light. It's crazy how light that trigger is. You know what? Let's try that again. Let's see which one's lighter between these two. So take that up and let's try this out. Oh, nice. Nice. Alright, there you go. There's my Chiappa Rhino. Of course, always practice safety with your guns. Make sure they are empty before you pull them out and handle them. As you saw beforehand, I started them all out. Chambers open. And slides locked back. That way you know they're all in. It's always good to practice safety with all your guns. This awful revolver. I despise it. There you go. All guns are clear, safe, ready to go.